So next up is the God of War collection.
Yeah, so this is the God of War 1 and God of War 2 redone in HD.
Redone, yeah.
And man, you were talking about the boobies? Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
Pretty good. They're not as point, because before they were almost like triangles.
Yeah, because
it was like polygon.
It was like 4 polygons and a red polygon. Yeah, it's just...
Now they've got a little curve. They don't bounce.
How am I supposed to rub one out to that?
It would hurt, actually. It'd be like, it's too sharp.
But yeah, I mean, like as soon as you put the disc in the machine, it's just this absolute, like, I can't believe they made it look that good. I mean, the only time, sometimes in the cutscenes, the models are just like, you look like a good PS2 model.
Yeah.
You know,
even if the cutscenes are like video, it's like pretty impressive.
Yeah,
like how bad they were.
Yeah,
considering, right?
But the gameplay.
It's still good.
It just shines. Like it looks like a game that was made recently.
It's basically better than most games that have been made recently. Yeah. Seriously, if you look at God of War, and I think you played mostly God of War 1, right?
Yep.
So I played a bit of God of War 1 and a bit of God of War 2, and God of War 2 looks even better.
Oh, that's awesome.
So my guess is what they did was that, they took all of God of War 1's models, and they're probably all low poly models, right? So they don't have that much detail, and they just they brushed them up a little bit, but they couldn't do that much. But I bet you the models in the God of War 2 are much higher
because they'd saved them at higher quality.
Saved them, exactly. Yeah. So it looks so much better.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you should actually give it a try.
My goal is to I'm 6 hours in to God of War 1. I'm going to beat God of War 1, beat God of War 2, and then play God of War 3.
Really?
They're not that long. They're not that big. I mean,
no, they're about 12 to 15.
Yeah,
right?
I think they're more like 10, but I don't think they're that bad. But I mean, like it's. I am having such a
It's really good.
You kept getting on my case about not beating God of War 1, so I went and bought God of War 1 off of eBay, and I put it in. I'm like,
It didn't.
I mean, it was very fun, but it was just one of these things. Where I'm like, I just didn't grab me. In this one, I'm playing through, and I'm just like playing. I'm like, this is friggin' sweet.
So basically, the graphics really stopped because the gameplay is pretty much identical, right?
It's pretty much identical.
There's not really that much different, but the graphics are.
Just because of how good it looks, it really did pull me in more. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'll have to give you the thing is when I was fighting the Hydra, I'm like, wow, this is so much more fun than 360 or PS3 games I've played many. PS3, like, this is just great. I'm like, I'm having a great time.
I know.
I got to play God of War 2, and I'm like, I'm having a great time. And I'm like, oh shit, And then the cool best thing about this collection, it was like, I think it was $30 or $40. It was cheap.
Yeah, like 40.
It was like 30 or 40, and then it comes with a God of War 3 demo, which we're going to review next week. Or so. So it's like you get the value you get.
It's unstoppable. Like 3 games. I mean, granted, the God of War 3 demo is 30 minutes. I mean, it's 2 games with a demo, but. I mean, these games are basically new games. At this point, especially if you've never played the God of War games, this is basically like buying a new PS3 game.
Yeah, and this is like brain dead. Like these games are held in such high regard. There's so many developers out there that are copying exactly what God of War did. I mean, look at Dante's Inferno, look at everybody. It's just like I don't know what it is. It's just like you got this huge thing of coming to a case, right? You got great camera angles, right? Where it's scripted,
you never
like
fight
Uncharted.
The camera. You never ever fight the camera.
And then just super smooth combat, which is really like kind of deep and but not as button mashy as it could be.
No, because when it starts out, it's one of those games where it starts out and you're like, this is a little button mashy because you're basically just hammering the 2 buttons, and then what happens is as you get more orbs, you unlock more powers in your weapons. And you start being able to really string together these things where it's like, if you jump up and hold down this button and hold down this button, it becomes this like in-air charge. And you start being able to pop people up in the air.
Juggle
and you start getting these things where you kind of like whip your blades around. And then, actually, I don't remember if this was in God of War 1 or not, but I think in God of War 2 for sure you start getting more weapons.
Yeah, I believe in God of War 1 you do, but if you've been playing 6 hours and you haven't gotten one, then
I haven't gotten one yet. I mean, I've gotten special abilities, right? I can throw lightning bolts. I can
have the magic.
I can freeze with Medusa heads. Maybe that's all you get in God of War 1. I think that might actually be.
I mean, if this is 6 hours, because you get a lot of different weapons in God of War 2. I remember that.
Yeah.
You get the big gun. You get the big sword.
Yes.
Sword.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think there were new weapons. I don't think there were any more than. I think there's special abilities, but no other weapons in God of War 1.
And the thing is, it's still really good.
Oh, it's fucking awesome. I mean, like, there's enough variety in there for sure.
Yeah, and what's really funny is like you were talking about the cutscenes. Like, this has got to be the first game I've ever played where the cutscenes look worse than the gameplay.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, they're nothing special. They really aren't anything special. Like, the game is much better than the cutscenes, which is funny.
I know. You're looking at him like, wow. Yeah. It's like, Kratos is like, jawline is a little blocky there.
Yeah.
It's like, it looks a little off.
It must have just been that they were able to do all kinds of stuff with the engine, but maybe those movies weren't an engine. Maybe those movies were just kind of like well, let's do what we can and polish up these.
Well, they could. I mean,
scenes.
all those things were probably rendered separately on another farm. Like they're not going to re-render them. They're just not.
All that stuff's gone. Probably, they probably just like anti-alias the shit out of it and like, can we blur it a little bit and make it look
a little
better?
Vaseline somewhere.
60 frames a second. That's fine. So,
but,
I would say that there's a couple mechanics that I feel have aged not well.
Really?
So, for example, I actually don't remember if they. I think that this is a complaint that I had about God of War 2, and I know for a fact that they fixed this in God of War 3. But the mechanic of hammering on shoulder buttons to open stuff is bullshit.
So they fixed it in 2, which is hilarious.
Okay,
which is in the actual collection, where now you basically hit the right trigger and then you hammer B.
That's not fixed.
Well, it's fixed in terms of it's better that dude. Like that's the. I mean, I have to agree. Like with God of War 1, when you're playing the thing, when you're hammering R2, it's depressing, right? You have to actually not depressing. It's not sad. It's just, but you have to depress it a lot. You can't. You can't do it fast.
You're just pushing the button and weeping openly.
God.
Yeah. But you're right. I mean, it's a big deal, and it's like and there's this weird timing thing where if you hit it super fast, it doesn't actually work as well. Like you have to get like the right rhythm. And the thing is there's no talent to this. Like there are game mechanics that I appreciate where there's timing and there's accuracy. And if you're not going to do that, then opening a door should be hold down the button.
Well, I mean,
there's nothing. There's no benefit to hammering repeatedly on something.
There's no benefit, but I can understand where it's one of those, like with God of War, what it seemed to me like when you lifting those heavy things, it's like you have to hammer the button because it's really heavy. So there's that extra bit of effort that you have to exert. But for a lot of things, like with the chest, you just hold down and it opens, right? It's cool.
I understand the explanation. I still think the mechanic is bullshit.
Like, it's more immersive, dude.
It's not fun.
Okay, fine.
When it comes down to it, like that is totally not fun for me. Like I'll come up to a door and like inside I'm just a little bit like. Just like because sometimes you get to these things where you're running through a building. There's like 7 doors in a row, so you just like run up in your door like,
all right,
you're just like fucking hammering on it. And you're like, God.
Well, so, it's a little better in God of War 2. They do make you hammer the B, which is a lot easier to do.
Yep.
And I don't remember that many doors, but I haven't played as deep.
So there was that. There was one other thing that I remember. Oh, I didn't like the. It really made me realize how much better the platforming stuff in like Uncharted had gotten when they're making you walk over these tiny
like
little and it's just like you walk one step over and he falls off and he gets back up and he walks one step over and then like finally you get it where you're just creeping and he can walk along and you're like, man, this is so much more fun in like Uncharted when you just hold down run and he just runs.
Yeah.
Because balancing on a board is not a fun game mechanic. So there's a lot of things where the gameplay is awesome and there's little things where you're like, I bet you anything in God of War 3 there's no tightrope walking. I bet you anything in God of War 3 there's no hammering to open doors. Like I think
no, I bet you they'll keep that.
We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. But the one thing that I didn't like too much about it was the saves were still really slow for some reason. I mean, like before, like that was one of the things when I remember playing God of War 2, and this was after, this is after a while. Like I'm playing, and I'm like, wow, it's like I have to hit a button, wait a few seconds, hit something, hit save, and all this, and it's just like it's seriously a long time considering how much data that probably has to be saved.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But anyway, I mean, like these are all relatively minor complaints. I mean, like you'll be, like annoyed a little bit by some of them, but overall, these games are just phenomenal, just unbelievably good. And there's these moments where you'll just come out and see, you come up over a vista and Ares striking down a city, or just hordes of people are running around, and like another bigger new monster walks out from behind a wall, and you're just like, fuck me running.
Yes.
Like I am so screwed. That guy's got 7 sledgehammers and a dildo chin. He's gonna
I don't remember finding that monster, but yeah, no, it's very scary. The other thing awesome about this, do they have trophies?
Yes, they added all the trophies. That's cool.
I mean, that's the thing we're always talking about. Like, what about like playing all these old games, add achievements, add trophies, and it's like they finally did it with this one. So maybe they'll do it more with other games. I really hope.
I do like that. I do like that where it's just like you do something, it's like, bing,
dude.
Like you fucked up 200 dudes with your lightning bolt.
Yeah. Or you've betted like 50 women.
Yeah. Well done.
Would you go through the ratchets again if they redid them and added trophies?
I don't know, because the thing is, I'm still not sold on the trophy mechanism. Because the thing is,
that's true.
Achievements, I can do all these things on the websites where I go and look at other people's achievements against mine.
Yeah.
And then I haven't gone to like the Sony site and like plugged in people's names and like going through the menu system. It's not as easy to just pull people up and compare their trophies.
It takes a while. Like you hit a button and it's just like wait, comparing trophies, wait. Sometimes
it's just not as easy to dig in. I like being able to do kind of head-to-head comparisons and I like being able to just have it more visible to me when you know, like how people. Something. If my trophies were more visible to the world, if people had given more of a fuck about home,
yeah.
Then I could, you know, like if I had a room with all my Ratchet trophies that people would like, if I could put them on display in like the NoobToob room or like
that would be a huge seller. Like
so,
you'd actually do it.
If people could see my trophies and give a shit about them, then yes, I'd go back and play. But as they are right now, they're kind of for me. The trophies are kind of for me.
And you don't really care. Like
I care enough that it's fun to get them in God of War, but I'm not going to replay.
You're not going to get like the platinum and any of this stuff. But what about like just the sheer graphics? If they actually took it and they did the God of War treatment in HD,
I would totally play that again.
Like because like seriously,
if they made like the old Ratchets look like, or if they made like if they took the old Spyro the Dragons and like made those HD. I mean, there's some games that could really do for a shine up.
Yeah, and the thing is, like the gameplay is so solid with those. It's really only the graphics that are a little off. So it's just like, just look, get all the first 3 Ratchets, put them for 40-ish, 30-ish, 40-ish bucks.
Yep.
That's just printing money, dude.
It is. I mean, you go back.